competitiveness to the room, and also just some accountability to knowing the system. That'll help everybody in that room.
It's 76 degrees at 12 o'clock. Time in Temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, get ready to spend the next 2 hours with our three sports-loving ladies. Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl.
This is Helmets and Heels
on 1010XL.
Show me what you got, pretty lady.
It's the second day of the Masters. It's the first day of the North Florida Invite. That's why we're here at the Coop watching some beach volleyball, which is amazing. 17th ranked North Florida hosts Mercer and JU. Right now, you've got some matches that are just about to get underway between UNF and JU. That starts in just a few moments, and then UNF will also take on Mercer at 4 p.m. If people don't understand how beach volleyball works, there are multiple courts going on with the duos competing. So 2 people on each side of the court, 2 for UNF, 2 for JU, as it were. Unlike indoor volleyball, which has 6 people on the court, this has 2 people on each side. So
if you watch the Olympics, you may be more familiar with beach volleyball than you are indoor.
Yeah, you better be in seriously good shape.
Yeah, I was talking about that when I first walked up, because I played volleyball in middle school and then my first year into high school, and I was like, man, I should have stuck it out. You just get to be on a Friday afternoon outdoors playing volleyball. This looks great.
Right, and so obviously some people play on the beach.
And they're so tan.
But yeah, this is here.
That's the big emphasis. They're so tan. That's what I really want. That's why I should have played volleyball. Move over lacrosse. Move over soccer.
They're, the courts are right next to Harmon Stadium, so if you're coming out, we're also right next to Hodges Stadium, and the Gateway Invitational as far as track and field is going on there. So lots going on here on the UNF campus. And ladies, I want to talk about the Masters, but there's a story in college football that we didn't get to yesterday that we have to attack today. Okay. Nico Iamaleava has not reported to practice.
He's negotiating.
Yes, he's negotiating. What in the world?
Yeah, I saw that pop up when Mia and I were sitting in our office yesterday, and I was like, this reads like an NFL headline, right. And this is a real college football headline right now, and it's wild, and that's the world that we live in right now. It's insane, and we're just going to see more of that, obviously, and those headlines are going to come to where eventually they probably won't even faze us, because we're going to be like, oh, another person is in contract negotiations, but also Nico.
That's, I think, the bigger point. Like, it's not like he had a Heisman-like season last season and he's underpaid. We also had heard reports, whether they're true or not, Mia, we have no idea, but that he was going to get $8 million to go to Tennessee once upon a time.
He was like the first big one, too. Like,
Jaden Rashada was kind of the first big one, but that's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah, that's, my goodness, how quickly time moves along. Nico Iamaleava and his $8 million deal, that was certainly, because he was only in high school, he was a junior when reportedly the details of that contract came out. And here we are. He's set to be in his second year as a starter, and he's having a holdout. Which, I mean, look, he's not the he is the first, but he won't be the last, right?
Yeah, well, I guess he left.
Or he could have entered the transfer portal. Like, that's the other alternative.
Yeah, when the negotiations don't go well, normally that's the next step, is you enter the transfer portal and you go get more money elsewhere, is what you at least think is going to happen.
Or hope, yeah, because we saw the situation not work out well last year for the UNLV kid, and when you start seeing, I wonder how hardball some of the colleges will play compared to the NFL, because I do think that in the NFL it's a little more difficult. You do sometimes have to give in to these guys. Not saying, but this to me is like, well, I don't know, maybe I'm trying to think of a super average quarterback trying to
super average.
Kirk Cousins. No, because in the NFL you at least have a CBA, so there's some form of okay, if you don't report by this day, we will fine you X, Y, and Z. There's none of that in college football. Like, Nico Iamaleava could just not show up and preserve a year of eligibility, go into the portal next year, and everything's just hunky-dory fine.
Well, and that's the crazy part about today's day and age, and it's the reason that we're not seeing spring games. Nico, by the way, last season, 2,600 yards, 19 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's a good season.
Decent.
But I don't know that you can negotiate for more money after that type of season. But the reason that this is so striking to me is you have the spring transfer portal. If he doesn't get what he wants, he doesn't have to sit out a year. He literally goes in the spring portal and goes somewhere else. And we will see lots of teams line up after this spring practices end, because there's going to be teams. I'll just use Georgia for example. What if they don't love Gunnar Stockton as their starter?
Yeah.
You could literally have a Kirby Smart and the offensive staff there call Nico if he does enter the portal in the spring and say, come on and play in the fall here.
Or, she's going to evoke it.
Oh.
What if
DJ Lagway?
Spring is completed and DJ Lagway is not 100% healthy? If you're Billy Napier, do you say, I got to get in the portal?
Figure something out.
I got to go find somebody who lost a job in the spring somewhere else?
I don't think if you're Nico, you would go there, just because.
No,
according to
I'm
reports,
not saying Nico. I'm saying just in general.
In general, trying to find a portal quarterback.
Sure, a lot of people have said that the reason they believe DJ Lagway is probably just suffering from tendonitis and nothing worse is because Billy Napier hasn't gone and tried to get another big name quarterback in order to, spell DJ until he's ready to come back. But again, if I'm that caliber of a quarterback, I'm not going to Florida, because I know the moment DJ Lagway's healthy, I'm not going to be starting anymore.
Or he's in denial, and I don't know. Maybe. I mean, look, Kirby was up there collecting like they were Yu-Gi-Oh cards,
He was
5-star
recruiting
quarterbacks,
them.
right?
But he wasn't getting guys out of the transfer portal
No,
to come to Georgia.
But point is like you're Carson Beck, and or not Carson Beck because that's not the best example. So you're Gunnar Stockton, you're Brock Vandegrift.
Mm-hmm.
You know Carson Beck's in the room. You know the other ones in the room. You also know Stetson Bennett is the entrenched starter at that point in time, and you're still choosing to go there. And so I don't think just because DJ Lagway's there or just because insert name is there's not a 5-star out there who doesn't say, if they've lost a job somewhere else, I think I can go here and I could try to compete for that spot.
Do you think
Especially because DJ Lagway isn't that healthy right now. At least let's call a spade a
I'll
spade.
be in Gainesville tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen.
Let us
so
know.
I will give you up-to-the-minute reports as far as what DJ Lagway is doing on the field. And look, it's a huge question because he hasn't thrown a football yet.
Yeah.
If he throws a football tomorrow, then all of these panic people get to relax and enjoy something else to worry about, and that would maybe be Trevor Lawrence and his pitch count.
Do you think that with Nico kind of doing it the way that he's doing it right now, part of it is because of this group of quarterbacks? It's not the strongest group of quarterbacks this next season, outside of maybe like an Arch and a Lagway and a Garrett Nussmeier. Outside of that, it's kind of underwhelming. So I feel like he may be playing his cards a little bit in that aspect of, good. Look, I'm one of the best ones in this group for this next season.
What's fascinating, I totally hear your point. Are you going to find a better offensive coach out there than Josh Heupel? 4-year development? Like, we have seen quarterbacks that I don't think are all that good go to Tennessee, and with what Heupel and that offense can do, they end up getting drafted much higher in the NFL. So I don't know if you're taking your pick that you're going to go somewhere else and be able to find something like that.
No, the Cowboys out here giving up what for Joe Milton? Like, come on now.
Right, Joe Milton's not that good of a quarterback, but he was able to be drafted because of Josh Heupel. And again, that system is so quarterback friendly.
Off the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosure, our friend from Derek from Indiana. We've missed you, Derek. Throwing for 50% in a playoff game and barely over 100 yards and asking for more money is mentally insane.
It is wild, but I think that to that point, going back to what I was just saying, I think there is a very underwhelming group of guys coming up. And maybe if it was last year, and some of the guys underwhelmed once the season started this last year, like a Quinn Ewers, who was towards the top of a lot of the conversations we were having in even August, September last year. But if you have somebody who is saying, okay, well, put my numbers up against any of these, let's say the top 10 in college football right now, and he is towards the top of some of those. And so maybe it's not good, but there's not that much competition in that sense right now.
I mean, Lenora Sellers is in the top 10 of NIL earning college football players. And he was the greatest Jekyll and Hyde last year. Don't get me wrong, electric player, and I know there's a couple of Heeligans listening right now, especially those of you in Fernandina Beach, and you're yelling at me right now. How dare I take the name Lenora Sellers in vain? But that's the reality of the situation. He had an up-and-down freshman campaign, and he got paid. So if you're Nico, look, the cost of doing business just went up. You got to keep up with what the price of a dollar is, what the price of a loaf of bread is.
Look, I know how important the quarterback position is. We all do. If I'm a coach, I am not interested in Nico Iamaleava. No, thank you. If you can't stick it out where a school paid you $8 million, or again, according to reports, around $8 million for 4 years, what are you going to expect from my school now? Like, how much do you think I have to pay you? And again, you weren't this stud quarterback that was in the mix for the Heisman. So, all right, let's get it to the Masters. Speaking of studs, Justin Rose has birdied today, so he is 8 under. He is leading the tournament. A guy I'm rooting hard against, though, is 3 under today. That would be Bryson DeChambeau.
Hey, we were watching the after hours coverage last night on Golf Channel, and Bryson was out there under the cover of night at 8 o'clock at night getting more swings in on the driving range. So
Yeah, Rory, as you probably know, skipped discussing his round with the media after that
the back
collapse.
nine. The back nine.
The back nine.
Well, they're not allowed to call it the back nine at the Masters. It's the first nine and the second nine. The broadcast is not allowed to say back nine. Why? That's
just like
a
the
Masters
patrons.
thing.
Yes,
Correct.
it's the patrons. It's
But-
not the fans.
But yeah, Rory decided to go back out and practice after obviously his ball went in the water there towards the end of his round. And I'm sure it's very stressful if you're Rory McIlroy. The world is watching you as to whether or not you're going to get your career Grand Slam. Started this process 10 years ago, searching for your career Grand Slam. And obviously, some people certainly root against him. I totally now have learned that. I thought everybody was Team Rory, but
I think
clearly
most people are Team Scotty, though, and Scotty's under a ton of pressure, and he's
He is.
T3 at 4 under. He'll tee off at 123 while we're on the air. And
do you think
have you heard
Rory-
about the weather, by the way?
Oh, no.
Okay, real quick, Taylor.
It's getting bad.
The weather this afternoon, the wind gusts are going to be in the 20s, 22 miles per hour to 28 miles per hour. So if you're on the golf course right now, you better take advantage of it. It is going to be really difficult this afternoon. So all those guys that we're talking about, they're making hay while the sun shines.
Yeah, what was that, like 2 years ago at the Players where we had crazy,
Yes.
the winds
Yep,
were
on
insane.
Yeah,
on the
And
Friday.
we've dealt with it the last few years, but there
yeah.
was one of those years where I remember they were like up to 20 at certain points, and that was wild to watch, and everybody was struggling. There were so many balls in the water during that period of time. But do you guys think that Rory needs this to be that like talked about at that next level? Because I don't think so.
No, he's still got another
He's gonna
10
be in the Hall of Fame.
He's got another 10 to 15 years. He'll win a Masters at some point. I don't know if it's this year or not. I think people just would love to see him capitalize on it this year, and that's why there's so much scrutiny because of how well he's been playing and because he's actually, for the first time in about 5 years, been able to put 4 rounds consistently together, especially after the collapse we saw at the British Open 2 years ago.
Some other names to keep an eye on. Matt McCarty is also 3 under today, as is Sung J M. They are both 4 under, and they are, well, McCarty's through 13, so he's nearing the end, and then Sung J M is through 8, so he certainly has a lot of golf left to play. And then another name that everybody loved for the Players, who was performing well at the Masters, didn't do all that well at the Players, Ludwig Åberg.
Ponte
Also 4
Vedra's own,
under.
baby. Let's go.
That's right. And then, like Mia mentioned, Scotty Scheffler and Corey Connors are also 4 under. They tee off, though, this afternoon. And so I am telling you, if you can do anything this afternoon, watch Masters Golf, because it's going to be crazy.
Come on now, Lauren. You're burying the lead. Look,
Am I?
Look who is lurking. 6 shots back of Justin Rose, yes, but just 2 shots back of those golfers that are T3.
Victor
Hovland, Taylor Dahl's guy.
I didn't bury the lead. Taylor
I
buried
was
the lead.
waiting. I was like, do I mention his 2 under right now?
He 1 under on the day. He's through 7.
UNF, by the way, here at home this spring is undefeated.
Wow.
And I'm not jinxing them. That's certainly information that their PR put out or their SIDs put out. So, certainly come on out here to the Coop. It is a gorgeous facility.
Yeah,
and it's a beautiful Friday afternoon as we discuss all things sports here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Get Florida Gators play-by-play on 1010XL.
The Gators spring football game is Saturday afternoon at 1 on 1010 a.m.
Hey Jacksonville, Don from Taco Lou here. Spring has sprung, the temps are rising, and the summer is on the way. In our world, that can only mean one thing. Cinco is coming. Yes, today everyone gets their taco fix and margarita fix. It could possibly be the best Monday of the year this year. If you're sitting at your desk on a Monday thinking no tacos for me, well, think again. We wouldn't let a big day like Cinco de Mayo slip by just because it's a Monday. Skip work or get the day off. But come and celebrate with us at Taco Lou in Jacksonville Beach. Maybe take Tuesday off. Taco Lou in Jacksonville Beach.
At Duck Duck Air Conditioning, we've got a crazy offer just for you. Mia here, and we're giving away free AC inspection to our wonderful customers who call and schedule now. No strings attached, 0 cost for you. One of our expert techs will come look at your AC unit and make recommendations to ensure it's running at peak performance. But you must act today. A deal this good won't last forever, folks. Call 904-862-6769. That's 904-862-6769. Or visit them online at duckduckac.com. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pools. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
It's heating up at Ride Now Jacksonville. Get water adventure ready with the 2024 Yamaha AR195 boat. With its supercharged engine, innovative design, and water sports features, the Yamaha AR195 is ready for anything you throw at it. Originally $46,000, now just $36,000. Oversized in-floor storage for wakeboards and extra gear, deck and hull design that maximizes space, comfort, and versatility like no other 19-foot boat. Ride Now Jacksonville on Blanding Boulevard. We'll meet or beat any price on all 2024 and prior models.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is Max Fink with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at KuhnFlowers.com.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyoublow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Surf in the Summer Surf Camp is now registering for camps this summer. Get your kids out to the beach this summer. For registration and session dates, log on to surfinthesummer.com. Surf in the Summer, Jacksonville Beach's premier surf camp.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's the Mangler.
Get to know positions and players. The 1010XL Ultimate Draft Guide is brought to you by Blue Haven Pools, the #1 pool builder in Jacksonville. Follow rankings and roundtables as the draft takes shape. Go to 1010XL.com/2025 draft guide to get yours.
St. Johns County parents, does your kid have energy to burn? Want them to play a sport for their middle school? Sign up today for the St. John's Middle School Athletic Association. Tackle football, dance, and cheerleading. Who doesn't want their kid to be the next NFL quarterback or dance floor diva? You know how fast your kid can go from playing Xbox to practicing their touchdown dance or sideline cheer? Visit sjmsaa.org. sjmsaa.org.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Universal Roof and Contracting protects your home and your wallet. Invest in a stronger roof and save big. Right now, get 15% off roof replacement and repairs. Financing's available with monthly payments as low as $115. But this deal ends April 30th. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, let's talk about diamond cutting. How is the diamond price affected by the way it is cut?
Frank, that's probably the most important question asked about diamonds, because the trade-off between a diamond cut for maximum beauty and one that's not is the diamond's carat weight. You see, diamond cutters buy rough diamonds based on quality and weight. So as they cut the rough diamond, everything cut away affects profits. However, there's specific known cutting parameters, and each deviation from these means they have a heavier, less beautiful diamond. Unfortunately, a customer can't detect all those cutting imperfections. They need expert help about a diamond's cut grade. You see, for any round diamond of a particular color, clarity, and carat weight, there are as many as 10 different prices that can vary by as much as 50%. At Underwoods, we look specifically at how a diamond's cut before we look at anything else, because it's the most important factor when it comes to a diamond's beauty, and to us, whether it should carry the Underwood name or not.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
O'Brien, our Jay Saunders back at 1010XL headquarters. I'm Lauren Brooks. We are live here at the Coop watching some beach volleyball on this absolutely gorgeous Friday. Looks like the Ospreys are up in 2 out of the 3 matches going on right now. We'll continue to update you. We were just talking Masters. I forgot to share my favorite story from yesterday. Jose Luis Ballester really had to use the restroom there at Rays Creek. And Justin Thomas was having a bit of an issue there on 12. And so he
Not a
relieved
bathroom
himself.
issue.
Not a bathroom issue, right. An actual golf issue. So Jose Luis relieved himself. But the best part is his post-round quote. They clapped for me. Probably one of the claps that I really got today real loud. So that was kind of funny.
That's
Way to go,
That is
patrons.
fantastic.
He thought no one would see him. But, there's just times when...
You got to go, you got to go.
Exactly.
I kept seeing the picture, and I was like, who's this man?
I mean, listen, if Lamar Jackson taught us anything,
Correct.
Listen, it sometimes
That was hilarious.
you just got to let it rip. Speaking of Justin Rose, from what I can see in our Wi-Fi situation here right outside the Coop's a little bit in and out. But the good news is we're on the air. We're sounding great. We're excited to be with you guys live from UNF's campus. But I did see a tweet that I believe Justin Rose just extended his lead to 3. He just got another birdie that has not shown up on the leaderboard yet on PGAtour.com, but hopefully that will be reflected here momentarily.
All right. So, we'll continue to update you when it comes to the Masters. We kind of forgot to make picks this week, / we also had a little bit of a shorter show the other day with the Jaguars press conference. Who would you have taken?
I honestly
Victor?
am glad we didn't know. I'm glad we didn't pick because I was going to take Fleetwood, actually.
Okay.
I guess he's 1 under now. Yesterday, it looked like he was like 2 over at one point. But only like solely because I saw the cutest video of his kid when they were like his kid was doing an interview and he's I don't even know, like 3 or 4, and he sounded so professional. I was like, this is the cutest.
And he has the British accent.
Yes, and I was like, this is the cutest video I've ever seen. So then I did start looking a little bit. I was like, okay, he's in the top like 11, 12 of odds, so it's not this total long shot. And I started reading, like, he's made 7 of his 8 cuts at the Masters. So I was like, okay, let me like go a little wild here, but it doesn't. I went wild at my March Madness bracket, and that didn't work. So
I probably would have picked Scheffler.
Well, we're not allowed.
Not
Anybody
allowed.
but Scotty.
What about is Rory allowed or no?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. I'd still not pick Rory. I'd still be afraid to pick Rory. I probably would have picked Colin Morikawa if I had to guess, just because of the iron
even.
game. Yeah, he's even. He tees off here at 1:01 p.m. And, we'll see what he can do today because, as Lauren alluded to, and in case you missed it, the wind whipping at Augusta. We're obviously 5.5, 6 hours to the south. I'm not going to lie, ladies. I go to head out of the house, and Kevin said to me, he just come back from a run, and he's like, it's a little warm out there, just so you know, in the sun. And I got my sweatshirt on, rocking the UNF quarter zip, and I'm like, I think I'll be okay. I'm very glad with my decision to wear the quarter zip because the wind is whipping here. I'm not sure if it's affecting the volleyball over behind us, but yeah, make no mistake. If you're heading out into your car, out into the world for the first time today, if you're listening to us, it is windy out here too.
I love the difference of like Lauren's in shorts and like a short sleeve shirt. I have my jeans, and you're like full on look like
leggings, quarter
like
zip.
55 degrees.
I did swim laps this morning, so maybe because my body.
maybe
I was in the
it has
pool in basically the cold tub, so
It's
maybe
78 degrees, and I'm also in the sun.
You're warm.
But I think it's warm out. All right, so we talk a lot about quarterbacks on this show. There's one quarterback that we've discussed a lot as well, and he's, of course, Deion Sanders' son, the former Colorado quarterback, who is going to be picked at some point, I would say, in the first round. Many people originally, when the pre-draft process started, thought that he'd be picked top 5, and now it seems like he may go in the 20s. We have no idea, and I will tell you, Shedeur Sanders is ready for this whole process to be over.
It's extremely fun. I feel like it's just funny to see what they come up with next. Because at first the arm wasn't strong. I had a lot of touchdowns in my college career. Then it was I pat the ball. That wasn't a thing before pro day, wasn't it? So I don't get in trouble off the field, so it's kind of hard from the create storylines for the media to keep that algorithm going. So it's just going to be fun with the next story.
Over 4,100 yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 picks. The patting the ball thing obviously has gone wild since his pro day.
Yeah, I think that the one thing that I said when we were talking about our quarterbacks we ranked them our top 5 back in June of last year or whatever it was, and I don't even think I put Shedeur on mine, and I think he was like my next. Like if we went to 6, I would have put Shedeur there. The reason I was worried about him is because of the personality, and I'm not talking about like he's getting in trouble off the field. I just thought that there's going to be certain teams that aren't going to vibe with his personality well, and kind of that Dion whole effect. And it's true. We heard today, I heard Mike Dempsey talking about it, where he said like there's teams that he just hasn't really, meshed with well, and then there's teams that just don't really mesh with him well. When you have that type of personality, that big, huge personality, and also there's also question marks on some of your actual mechanics and other things that are going on, that is going to deter some teams. And so I do think that some of the things we were talking about last summer that may affect him have affected him, because last year we were talking about, okay, 1-2 is going to be probably Shedeur and Quinn. Obviously neither of those are going 1 or 2. Well, I guess not 2 at this point, but I do think that it started factoring in more. It is funny. I saw someone tweet, though, and someone's like, everyone's making this big deal about, like, Dion and kind of how he's handling it, and the whole Shedeur, because we've heard this, he's not going to go to that place or this place. And someone was like, the Mannings have been doing this forever, and they don't get criticized the way that Deion Sanders does.
Preach to that. Also, Dion's not really the concern, from what I was told at the NFL Combine by a couple different scouts. Buck's the concern. Okay. The oldest brother, who is essentially the manager for Shedeur Sanders. If anything, teams are having pause about Buck. They are not having pause about Dion, who has been around the periphery of the National Football League for at least my entire 32 years of life, and no concerns really about Shedeur and his personality. If anything, I think what Shedeur Sanders possesses, and that's what I'm most fascinated to see wherever he lands in the National Football League, how he's able to counter it, is that, let's be real, the situation, at least in year 1 in Colorado, was far from perfect. That offensive line was atrocious, and because of that, he had to find ways to succeed. And while, yes, in year 1 that only resulted in 4 wins, in year 2 that resulted in being competitive down the stretch of the Big 12 season, having a chance at the Big 12 title game, and ultimately playing in the Alamo Bowl. And so that's where I look at that, coupled with, speaking of that bowl game, the fact that Shedeur Sanders chose to play in the bowl game. I think he's proven that he is competitive enough, that he loves football, that he is all about ball, just like his counterpart in Travis Hunter. But I think that what I'm most fascinated to see how teams evaluate him is that it wasn't a perfect situation around him, and he did still have success, whether you believe that it's because he had a strong arm or not.
2 ironic things. You name your kids Buck, Shedeur, and Shiloh.
Well, he's Dion Jr., and he goes by Buck.
That makes more sense to me.
Yes.
I was stuck on that. The other ironic thing, Cam Ward's going to go number 1 overall, and he only played in half of the bowl game.
Well, let me
Only in the
also
first
throw
half.
this at you. Cam Ward's been training with Shedeur Sanders and his longtime trainer. So,
oh, yeah, those clips went viral for a while because they were trash-talking each other back and forth. I do think, it's going to be interesting because I still see people saying, Dan Orlovsky tweeted today, I still think he's a top 10 pick. Somebody is going to get a good, decent quarterback. There's going to be some things that you're going to have to develop. And in that term, then you have to make sure he's going to the right spot, because you have to make sure he's going to a team that is able to develop quarterbacks, that at least has some sort of help around him. Because we've seen, to your point, we saw him at Colorado be behind a bad offensive line, but you also had a number 2 pick and Travis Hunter catching the balls and doing a lot of work after the catch and creating a lot of opportunities too. So I do think that we talk about the success and failures of quarterbacks and where they're drafted and how certain ones go different places and succeed. I think that this needs to be a really good scenario for Shedeur, or I think we're going to be talking about this not working out fast. But the good part about that is if he goes somewhere, if we're talking about the 9, 10, 11, 12 spot, and it's someone who does have pieces, then I do think we could see maybe a little bit of a quicker development from him.
Let me throw this at you. Bo Nix goes to the Denver Broncos a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Your reaction?
Yeah, I also always liked Bo Nix.
Okay.
Bo Nix was I liked Bo Nix better than some of the other quarterbacks in the draft
I liked
last
him
year.
at Oregon. I did not think Bo Nix was a good quarterback at Auburn whatsoever.
Yeah, and that's what, to me,
I couldn't succeed in spite of the chaos at Auburn, and then at Oregon it was a much better situation.
Yeah, and that's what, you saw it with Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams at USC, his final year, because the offensive line was terrible, all the receivers were terrible, the defense allowed 1 million points a game, and so you saw all of his numbers statistically fall. So you do, when the coaches and scouts and everybody are evaluating this, you do have to take that into account, obviously. You have to look at these guys and say, you're watching the film and you're taking away maybe some of the errors and you're looking at, the piece as a whole, because you can't do it on your own. And you're not going to do it on your own at the NFL either. That's why we've seen people like Trevor Lawrence, and we talk about all the issues around Trevor and why you haven't seen Trevor where he is, because nobody's going to do it on their own. Maybe Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has probably been the closest to being able to just do whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and maybe Lamar Jackson.
Maybe
Yeah.
Josh
By the way,
Allen.
I'm going to throw, maybe Josh Allen. I'm going to throw a complete and total wrench into the situation. What if he goes, Shador Sanders, what if he goes number 14 to the Indianapolis Colts?
Oh, my gosh.
What if they do the
X-Files music, RJ. X-Files music,
They
RJ.
do the Falcons route and they say...
Oh, my God. After signing Daniel Jones,
Yes, they
too.
say we don't have a quarterback, and they decide, you know what?
Listen.
The Falcons did it with Michael Penix Jr. It was a smart move. Put your chips in.
Pardon my French, folks, but Chris Ballard's ass is on the line. Like, let's be real here. Trent Baalke, Dave Caldwell, both have more AFC South titles since Chris Ballard became the general manager of the Indianapolis Colts. Hang the banner. It's just the reality of the situation. He's a fan favorite because he's great to the media, because he drafts players who you loved in college and they're athletic freaks. But yes, sometimes if you're a GM and you know that the seat's getting a little bit warmer, you got to do something. I would be here for it. I want the chaos. I want the chaos.
Honestly, if he slides to that, I think they're questioning it. I think they are taking a look at that, because when you look at the Colts overall, their roster isn't terrible. Michael Pittman is a good wide receiver. We saw Alec Pierce last year. Honestly, a lot of Colts fans like Alec Pierce more than Pittman at certain points, and I think they have some building blocks there. Their defensive line last year was super beat up. When they're not hurt, they're actually pretty decent. So they have so many kind of starting building blocks. So
it would be like the Broncos with Bo
you're
Nix.
you're taking a risk, but also you're taking him mid-round, a quarterback that some people may be valuing in the top 10.
No, I
You
think
also have
that's
to plan for the future. That's the bottom line.
I think that would be like Bo Nix going to the Broncos. That was a situation that so many of us were like, but are the Broncos actually built for a rookie quarterback to come in and succeed? Well, evidently they were, because they went to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Whether you believe the strength of their schedule or not. And so that's why, to your point, Gardner Minshew had the Colts on the verge of a playoff run. And while, yes, they lost 2 offensive linemen to free agency, they didn't have Will Freeze most of the year. And so they were still able to, at the very least, be competitive last year. And so that's where I'm fascinated by a situation like the Colts. Is there a team like the Denver Broncos in this year's draft, whether it's the 14th overall selection or somewhere else, that maybe we don't realize how good of a situation it would be, so long as you have a quarterback come in who can just manage it?
Does Anthony Richardson go somewhere then, do you think?
It's a good
And they
question.
have DJ and
Right, because they
Shador?
just paid, obviously, Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine. Or if they still believe in him, they just are saying, beat out the
Yeah.
competition. We'll see.
Win it.
Yep, we've got a Masters update for you. And then on the other side, we'll check in with Nick Morrow, the athletic director here at the University of North Florida. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Now, a Masters update on 1010XL, brought to you by TopDressing.com and St. John's Middle School Athletic Association.
From the Augusta National Golf Club, Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the Masters. I'm Ted Emmerich. Jason Day was told to tone down his apparel this year after some looks that were out there last year. So his outfit's a bit more reserved. His game looked right in the first round. At 2 under 70, he was 5 off the lead overnight, but Day knows that margin can be made up.
It has been done. I remember Danny Willett shooting a low one here. I think it was like 66 or 67 to kind of come back and win the tournament. But the better you start, obviously, the easier it gets, as long as you keep that level of play up. So very pleased with how everything went.
Day is now 7 off the lead with Justin Rose at 9 under, but Day yet to tee off. He goes in about an hour. You're listening to coverage of the 2025 Masters on Westwood One.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Harbor Freight knows time is money, so for our Spring Black Friday sale, we're getting straight to the deals. Right now, you get 35% off jack stands, 56-inch roll caps under $800, and 2,300 PSI electric pressure washers under $190. See? Straight to the point, so you can get straight to the savings. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until April 13th, 2025, while supplies last. Limitations apply.
The countdown is on for the 2025 NFL Draft presented by Bud Light. Watch all 7 rounds across 3 days live, April 24th through 26th. Visit NFL.com/draft for more info. Justin Rose has pushed his lead to 3 shots, a birdie at number 12 after a beautiful tee shot. Rose at 9 under par. He's 2 under today through 12 holes. Bryson DeChambeau alone in second at 6 under. DeChambeau with 3 birdies in the first 7 at 2, 4, and 5. That birdie at number 4 came from the bunker. He holed out. Sung J M is 4 under today, making the turn. M 5 under for the tournament and 3 off the lead. At 4 under, Matt McCarty, Corey Connors, and Scotty Scheffler, who's won the Masters 2 of the last 3 years. Connors and Scheffler just about to tee off in the next hour or so. McCarty 3 under today through 14. He's making his Masters debut. He's got 6 birdies in the last 8 holes. He started the day with a double bogey at 1 and a bogey at 2. So what a round for McCarty, the Masters rookie. From Augusta, I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
Value or flavor? Price or taste? Why choose when you can get both with everyday deals at Sonny's? Right now, you can get the pork big deal for 10, the pork and rib combo for 12, and all you can eat ribs for just $19.99. Yep, you heard right. All your favorites are now available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Hi, I'm Karen, owner of Clay Solar Installation Partners, your local woman-owned solar company. Did you hear? JEA is raising rates again. With summer right around the corner, those power bills are only going to go up. But with solar, you can take control of energy costs and say goodbye to rising rates. At Clay Solar, we make switching easy and affordable. Stop paying more for power and own it. Visit claysolar.com to schedule a consultation today.
Your home is more than walls and a roof. It's where you breathe, drink, and power through life. At Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to keep it all running smoothly. From clean, cool air to clean water, reliable power to expert plumbing, we do it all. For over 35 years, families have trusted Donovan to make their homes healthier, safer, and more comfortable. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing today, 904-270-COOL, where health meets home.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Lauren Brooks here for Novus Glass of Jacksonville. Novus Glass is already so well known for their customer service for windshield, window, and glass repairs and replacements. But now they're the only place in town where you can get Turbo Tint. Turbo Tint is incredible new technology that will reduce the heat inside your car and house, just like darker tint, but Turbo Tint allows natural light to come through. Turbo Tint blocks up to 99% of harmful UV rays, so all of us Floridians need Turbo Tint, and Novus Glass is the only place you can get it. Book today at turbotint.com.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home this weekend at the newly renovated ViStar Ballpark. Join us tonight for fireworks and tomorrow at 6:35 for more fireworks. Presented by Ascension St. Vincent's. The first 2,000 fans through the main gate Saturday get a free Bluetooth speaker. Free face painting before the game on Baptist Health Sunday Family Fun Day at 3:05. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple years ago. Went smooth as silk. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On April 11, 1965, at the 29th U.S. Masters Tournament, Jack Nicklaus wins the second of his 6 Masters titles, beating Gary Player and Arnold Palmer by a record 9 strokes.
Welcome back, everybody. Okay, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10.
Charles.
6.
Oh, so close. Betty for the steal.
What about the bank that helps you reach your financial goals? Synovus.
Let's see, judges. Yes, looks like we have a winner.
That's a number?
Sorry, Charlie. Remember, a solid financial future doesn't happen by chance. Talk with Synovus about your potential today.
Brought to you by Synovus Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. The number was 4.
What Major League Baseball teams have never won a World Series?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
There are 5 Major League Baseball teams that have never won a World Series: Colorado, Milwaukee, San Diego, Seattle, and Tampa Bay.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about not being afraid of the crosses of life. Life can be difficult. Maybe today you're carrying a cross of worry or stress. Let me encourage you to remember that when Christ got on the big cross at Golgotha, he destroyed all the little crosses that we face in our life. He set us free from fear, worry, and anxiety. Our job is not to be carried by the cross, but to be carried by our faith.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Catch Gators baseball all season long on 1010XL. Pitched by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. And Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Florida Gators.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Welcome back to Helmets and Heels as we are live here at the Coop. That's the beach volleyball complex, and we're joined by Nick Morrow, the athletic director of the University of North Florida. Nick, thanks so much for having us today.
No, this is awesome having you out here. I could get used to you guys coming out to our events now. Like, we need to keep this rolling.
Exactly.
Let's go.
Especially with weather like this.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
All right, so we'll start with the University of Florida, where you graduated from, Nick. We knew each other back in those days. You got to go to San Antonio, watch the Gators win the national championship with your brother. I can't imagine it could have been better than that.
It was so cool. I was already planning on going because I heard San Antonio is one of the best Final Four sites there is, and we get able to get access to tickets and hotels pretty early, like back in September. So I said,
Okay.
we're going to make some donor trip out of this and really check it out. And then Florida gets in. I'm like, well, this is pretty cool. So I might have packed like a Gator hat and a pair of Gator socks, but that was it. Otherwise, I was so UNFE.
You probably got a better rate too than
Just
everybody
slightly.
else who
Yeah,
last
just
week and a
slightly,
half.
right? No doubt. And then it just kept, going from there. More and more Gators kept coming into town, and so I saw a lot of people that I hadn't seen in a while, which was really neat. I might or might not have had a beer or two with Frank Frangie pregame on the national championship
Nick,
day.
that's travel vlogger extraordinaire, Frank Frangie, that you were referring to. If you haven't seen the videos yet, folks, go to the 1010XL video channels.
It was just such a cool vibe being the Riverwalk. Everything's walkable, which is really neat. And then for the fact that they won the national championship. My brother was actually in a work conference in Austin, so it was completely random. And I said, hey, I got an extra ticket. Why don't you drive down? So
Amazing.
he drove down after his work conference, got there at tip-off. Then we hung out and celebrated the national championship, and then he went right back to his conference at 6 a.m. the next day.
Wow. How far is it from Austin to San Antonio?
It's like an hour and a half.
Oh,
2
no,
hours.
that's not terrible.
Yeah, not bad.
What was those final seconds when people realized that Emmanuel Sharp could not take the ball back up after he kind of just let it bounce?
There's not a great seat in the house there. Like, 60 to 65, 67,000. It's like certain angles are really tough to see, but you could tell he couldn't get the shot off. And then it's kind of bouncing, and all of a sudden you see Condon rolling in. But I still thought there was plenty of time left.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the buzzer's going off, and everyone's going nuts. And the whole sequence was really cool to see a really good game, too, on top of the fact that your alma mater was there and hanging out with UNF people witnessing it, Gator people witnessing it. Like, it's definitely one of those trips I'll remember forever.
I love that. And you can be both, by the way. You can be a UNF supporter and a Florida supporter.
Yeah, I just know who pays my bills. Yeah, so, yeah.
All right, so tell us about the Coop. When I worked here, this practice complex and beautiful facility, I shouldn't even say practice, this complex wasn't here. So tell
Right.
us about the journey.
Yeah, so we opened this up in February of 2020, and if anybody remembers what happens in March 2020, we got one match in, and then it shut down for a year. But this is a fantastic complex. 5 beach courts, stands. It's such a cool vibe. It's one of my favorite sports because you got music playing the whole time. There's multiple matches going on. People walking around in bare feet and they got their beach chairs. It's such a good vibe, and we're a really good team. We're 17th in the country right now. We've only lost one match on the East Coast. We went to California last week. That's we went to Laguna Beach, and it's a whole nother level of. We played 3 top 10 teams, and including the 4-time defending national champ in USC, and so that was a really cool experience for them. Yeah, more or less. And then now we go to Texas next week before conference championships, but they're in great position to win a conference championship again. We're defending champs, ranked 17th in the country, so we're right there, close to getting an at-large. But there's only 17 teams that go to the national championship, so you take out the auto bids, we'll be just on the outside of the bubble right now. But again, it's just a really great vibe, a lot of fun. I recommend people. It's a free event too, so you get to come out and watch Division I beach volleyball with one of the top 20 teams in the entire country.
And of course, Senior Day on Saturday, so your 4 seniors will be honored as well here at the Coop. But I think what's even more interesting, Nick, and we kind of talked to your counterpart, Alex Rickard-Gilbert at JU, about this when we were over there a few weeks ago. This idea of beach volleyball becoming a varsity sport, and you just pulled from the existing indoor volleyball team to bring girls outside for the spring sports season. But now it's become its own ecosystem, if you may, to pull a word from the Jaguar land, in that you have prep beach volleyball readily accessible throughout the country, and in turn you're able to recruit those players specifically for this spring sport.
Yeah, no, it's crazy how quickly it evolves. So our first season of competition was spring of 2012. I came in July of 2011, so I've been here for the entire time the program's been in place, and that's exactly right. We're like, okay, this will be an easy sport to add. We'll use the same athletes, same coach. We're at the beach anyways. We can use their courts, and Dorm has a couple so we thought it'd be super inexpensive and put it on, and we could be competitive and build off of that. But it's quickly turned into its own coaching staff, its own facility, which is one of the best facilities in the country, its own athletes, and it's great because we've continued to invest in it, and that's what's helped us be a top 20 program. But it's wild how quickly it has grown.
Let me ask you, because we had the conversations last time you were on about golf, and we were talking about the recruiting, golf, and how that all kind of comes together. When you go from sport to sport, how much is the difference of recruiting golf and basketball and then volleyball, obviously, in general, when it comes to the approach on your side?
Yeah, so there's obviously different pockets of the country that have more talent than others, and being in the South, being in Florida, we've got a lot of talent for all of our sports, honestly. But softball, a lot of time they'll go to a tournament in Colorado and one in Chicago, and they'll pull in talent from there. Volleyball has huge tournaments in the Midwest, and they'll go there and pull talent. And then but Schroeder, on the other hand, sticks a lot around Florida and the Southeast, so everyone handles a little bit differently. Now beach is now high school sport. It's now a club sport, and so they're developing their own athletes themselves that just focus on beach, which was never the case before. And a fun fact about our beach program, we were one of the first handful of programs in the entire country to start it. ASUN Conference was the first conference to start beach volleyball.
I didn't know that.
We were the first ever conference champion.
Wow.
And so we'll forever be the first ever NCAA conference champion in the sport of beach volleyball.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's a fun fact. I did not know.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about the transfer portal and NIL. How does that affect University of North Florida athletics?
Depends on the sport. Basketball, it's a disaster. We've got 5 guys that are in the portal right now, and they're being offered healthy amounts of money to go transfer to another school. And so men's basketball is so different than all the other sports, though, and without us having football. And it's always going to be a challenge hang on to it. I don't know if you'll see that Cinderella story anymore, or they'll be very far and few between, because you think about those teams that got into the tournament and made a run in tournament that were mid-major. Well, they probably played together 3 or 4 years. They were old, experienced, knew how to play together. Well, now you're lucky to hang on to a guy more than 1 or 2 years. You're not going to build up a team like that anymore. So, this year we saw it. It was a lot of chalk throughout the bracket, right? I don't think that was an anomaly. I think that's going to be more the norm now moving forward. Before it wasn't the norm. Now I think that's going to be more the norm.
Another part of the transfer portal NIL conversation, though, in addition to, of course, the House settlement that's about to come down and revenue sharing will be a thing in college athletics, Nick, is when we talk about revenue sharing, this idea of at the Power 4 level, most of that money is going to go to football and basketball. Correct me if I'm wrong. At the mid-major level, that won't be the case. What sort of opportunities does that present the schools like the University of North Florida, JU, and those in the ASUN
Yeah,
Conference?
let's look outside of basketball and all their other sports. Like, we don't have a lot of athletes going into the transfer portal. We have probably a higher retention rate than the national average for sure. I'll put that up against any other sport, any other school. Our retention rate on ours, because we were able to offer such a great experience living in Jacksonville, all the things you can't buy and stuff. So under the new house settlement, there's now roster limits that are coming, right? And so now the Power 4 programs can't stock this really large roster of 4 and 5 stars and see how they filter out, and then that becomes their starting lineup. Now they got to actually make decisions. If you're Florida men's golf and you carry 14 to 15 usually, and you won a national championship 2 years ago, and now you're told you only can have 8 or 9, well, that back half of that roster is still probably good on a national championship team. So where did they got to go to that next school? And so there is going to be more parity across all the other sports. Men's basketball won't be that case, though. But every other sport will
Women's
have
basketball, do you think?
And it's not as prevalent. It's not as prevalent. So we didn't have any of our starters that we were concerned about going in the portal did not go in the portal. There is still money flowing through women's basketball, though. Last year we lost a recruit to a mid-major in the Midwest that was offered a kid like $40,000 last year.
Who had never played a game before.
Never played a game before. And so there's going to be some of that in women's basketball, but you're right. Most of it's going to go to football. The rest of it's going to go to men's basketball. And then there might be a little left that they share with the other sports.
That college basketball portal opening right in the middle of the NCAA tournament, do you see a world where that shifts at all or changes?
There is a lot of noise around that, and it is difficult for those teams that are competing in the NCAA tournament to be able to do recruiting and fill their roster while they're focusing on the tournament they're in. And some of them had current players playing in the Sweet 16 that were in the portal. Like, that's kind of messed up too. It gets tough when you start looking at academic semesters, and if you started it now, well, there's 2-3 weeks left of the semester. And then you go into summer school, and there's enough time to work the admissions process. So there's going to be constant tweaking to it.
Yeah.
Will it wait until the tournament's completely over? I doubt it.
Yeah.
We're having the same discussions, right? In college football, there's a lot of noise around the fact the portal opens in the middle of bowl season and preparing for college football playoff. It's a new system. I mean, it's relatively new, and we're still working through all the kinks and what's best for the student athletes, what's best for the coaches and the schools, and because there is an academic component to all this that most people have forgotten about. Yeah, by the way,
what?
There is admission standards, there is eligibility, there is trying to get a degree.
I had somebody say that to me when we were doing my women's basketball podcast, and it was somebody mentioned something as we're prepping about, well, Vanderbilt and Stanford, like there's thresholds, and I'm like, but are there thresholds anywhere now? And it's like, no, at certain schools, at certain academic institutions, it is still a thing.
Yes, those real high academic institutions, like they're falling quickly behind because of lack of wanting to take in transfers and stuff, and are just bending the standards they've had for so long.
Yeah.
So each institution's a little bit different, and clearly you can see those that are investing heavily. They're talking about the blue bloods of college basketball next year spending $10 million plus on a basketball roster.
And what do you define as a blue blood, Nick Morrow?
Yeah,
because we've had this conversation.
Oh no, I don't want to.
It's Florida blue blood.
This is a whole segment.
Is Florida
Of course
included in
they
that
are.
10 million? Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
You knew that was going to be
I
the
know.
answer. Nick, final thing. What's going on with the rest of spring sports? I know obviously baseball has a game tonight.
Yeah, baseball is on the road. They're at Stetson, who's first place in our division, and we're in second place, so that's going to be a nice matchup. Softball's crushing it. They're undefeated in conference play. They're number 42 in the RPI. They're right at the bubble if we weren't to win conference tournament to get in at large. It's exciting.
Awesome. We've talked about the star pitcher on this show.
Yeah, Benny is. Yeah. She's special. Yeah, if you haven't come seen her play yet, you got to check her out.
Oregon transfer, right?
Oregon transfer. Yep. And she was being poached last year after a great season she had, and she loved the environment and the support we surrounded her with, and chose to stay, which is kudos to the coaching staff and our administration for really focusing.
But again,
on
that's
her.
an example too of the non-football, non-basketball rosters that can exist, and not only can ensure that those players are properly compensated, but the roster doesn't have to shrink in size. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. No, she's a great example of that.
You said she was being poached, so I just want to back up. Did she enter the transfer portal?
She did not.
That's what I wanted the record to reflect.
Yeah. Yes.
She was being illegally tampered with.
Yeah, we could have a whole segment on that if you want. We might have some experience with that with our basketball team after beating Georgia Tech and South Carolina. There's a few poachers out there.
3 games into the season.
Yeah.
Tampering.
Another one that we talked about when you guys were at women's golf was Smilla Colby.
Yes, we've had her on the show.
Yes, that's right. And so what she's done is fantastic. And being an first-team All-American for indoor track, that's the hardest championship to qualify for because there's no regional that feeds into it.
Mm-hmm.
The fact she even got in, and then she beat an Olympian in that race who ran in the, it's just crazy. And so last week she started her outdoor season. She's already got the second fastest time in the country in the 800.
Wow. Atta girl.
And so she's crushing it. But tomorrow night we have the Blue and Gray Bash in the arena. It's our largest fundraiser of the year. That's right. Yeah, it hopefully recovers from his milk challenge this morning. Yeah.
Robert on the YouTube chat did ask, is ET okay? To our knowledge.
He was struggling this morning for sure. He walked to my office. He's like, Tater, I'm not going to make it.
I told him not to do it, but that's another story.
Well, but before we say goodbye, Nick, and as we go through the list of things coming up, I do want to give you guys a round of applause, RJ, because I love this stat that North Florida Athletics of UNF's Giving Day accounted for 40% of the overall donors and 36% of the overall dollars raised.
Big time, huh?
It's incredible.
Yeah. And you compare our Giving Day numbers to other mid-majors and even Power 4 programs, like we outpaced a lot of them. We really put a lot of focus in that, especially the donor count, because, we're trying to build up that pipeline and interest and engagement. So we're really proud of those numbers. Record numbers for like the 5th or 6th straight year in a row, and we're going to keep it going. And so just having people involved and really recognizing what we're doing here and the potential that UNF has is so enormous. And if people keep coming around being a part of this, we can really make Jacksonville proud.
I got several texts on UNF Giving Day from prior coworkers.
Ditto.
Ditto. You need to give, and I did. All right, Nick, thank you so much for having us out here, and thanks for joining us today.
No, absolutely. Appreciate y'all being out here. Thank you.
Absolutely. We've got a Masters update on the way. More to do on a Friday on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Now, a Masters update on 1010XL, brought to you by TopDressing.com and St. John's Middle School Athletic Association.
From the Augusta National Golf Club, Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the Masters. I'm Ted Emmerich. The second round for Justin Rose has been far different than the first when he opened with 3 straight birdies on his way to a 7-under 65. No, today has been all about scrambling for Rose. The wedge game has been on target for the most part, although he came up about 20 feet short now at 14, and Rose's putt misses on the low side to the right, so Rose is going to drop at least a shot there. He has marked his ball at the moment. Rose at 9 under with a 2-shot lead. But look out for Bryson DeChambeau. He was on the green in 2, the par 5 8th, at 20 feet for eagle. Just missed it, tapped in for birdie. DeChambeau is now 7 under par. You're listening to coverage of the 2025 Masters on Westwood One.
Every day when we're on the road, people around us endanger themselves and others by looking at their phones while driving. There's the sneak-a-peeker who darts their eyes between the road and their texts, or the nightlighter who illuminates their car after dark. If that's you, reconsider before you find yourself becoming the fender-benderer, the got-a-ticketer, or worst of all, the driver who killed someone. Put the phone away, or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Scottsdale, Arizona's Matt McCarty doesn't look like he's playing in his first Masters. The lefty, 4 under through 15 and 5 under for the tournament. 4 back of the leader, Justin Rose, here in the second round. McCarty has 7 birdies in the last 10 holes. He started the day double bogey. Sung J M also hot. 4 under today through 10. He's 5 under overall and 4 back of Rose. By the way, Justin Rose now lining up his bogey putt from a foot away. He rolls it in. Rose dropping a shot now 8 under, 1 shot better than Bryson DeChambeau, who is 7 under. Rory McIlroy had 30 feet for birdie at 9. McIlroy just missed that to the right, so McIlroy 1 under today, making the turn, 1 under overall, 8 back. Projected cut at +2. Few past champions right on that number. Dustin Johnson, who is through 12. John Rahm, who's through 7. Bernhard Langer through 2. What a story it would be for Langer to make the cut in his final Masters at 67 years old. From Augusta, I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
Hey Jacksonville, Don from Taco Lou here. Spring has sprung, the temps are rising, and the summer is on the way. In our world, that can only mean one thing. Cinco is coming. Yes, today everyone gets their taco fix and margarita fix. It could possibly be the best Monday of the year this year. If you're sitting at your desk on a Monday thinking no tacos for me, well, think again. We wouldn't let a big day like Cinco de Mayo slip by just because it's a Monday. Skip work or get the day off. But come and celebrate with us at Taco Lou in Jacksonville Beach. Maybe take Tuesday off. Taco Lou in Jacksonville Beach.
Mia here, and I've got a question for you. Have you ever wondered why buy from Arlington Toyota? I'll tell you why. How about over 800 vehicles in one location? That is unheard of. And that means that Arlington has what you want. Camrys, Corollas, RAV4s, Tacomas, Tundras, even the all-electric B74X. Have you seen that thing? So good. And it's all waiting for you at Arlington. Or how about this reason why? 60-day exchange. So you can buy it, take it home, drive it around for 60 days, and then if you decide it's not quite right, you can bring it back and exchange it. Now that is total confidence. You even get Arlington's lifetime warranty with your new purchase. Why buy from Arlington? Because right now you can get financing as low as 0% on select new Toyota models. 0%. It doesn't get any lower than 0%. And you can get it today at Arlington Toyota. And that's why you should buy from Arlington. Shop in person on Atlantic Boulevard, just a quarter mile east of 295, or at arlingtontoyota.com.
Get a healthy start in 2025. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to encourage you to get healthy and stay healthy this year. They have a dedicated team who are committed to providing quality care. The goal is to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Visit duval.floridahealth.gov to learn more about their health programs and services. That's duval.floridahealth.gov.
There's a lot on the line in a divorce. Your home, savings, maybe even your kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions it can take, you need a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Don't let divorce take more than it has to.
Offices in Jacksonville. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Online at CordellCordell.com.
We're giving away free AC inspections to our wonderful customers who now call and schedule. But you must act today. A deal this good won't last forever. Call 904-862-6769. DuckDuckAC.com. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you become more active, reach your weight loss goals, and find your inner strength. Membership at the Y includes state-of-the-art facilities, a huge variety of fitness classes, and programs for all ages. It's easy to join the Y since it's affordable for all incomes. The Y is a great place to make connections and experience something new. Visit the YMCA near you or online at fcymca.org.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Life
Life is just so busy this time of year. Between work, the kids' games, family vacations, I need a yard hero to free up my weekends.
You mean somebody who does mowing and trimming?
Yeah.
How about mosquito control?
Yeah.
What about irrigation and pet waste removal?
You do that too? You're my lawn hero.
Find your lawn hero at heroeslawncare.com. Heroes Lawn Care, because every lawn needs a hero.
Leon Cersei here. Let's be real. I used to eat like a lineman because I was one. And man, those habits are hard to break. I needed help to stop with the munchies and lose weight. But now, I'm bringing sexy back. I call Physician Guided Weight Loss. Their medical team is helping me shed pounds safely with a custom plan to help me slim down. And their firm pricing means same price every month. Hey, you want to bring sexy back? Visit Physician Guided Weight Loss at pgweightloss.com.
Surf in the Summer Surf Camp is now registering for camps this summer. Get your kids out to the beach this summer. For registration and session dates, log on to surfinthesummer.com. Surf in the Summer, Jacksonville Beach's premier surf camp.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update, brought to you by Clay Solar Installation Partners. The Florida Gators annual Orange and Blue game takes place tomorrow down in the Swamp with kickoff set for 1 p.m. with an opportunity for fans to come out and see what the Gators have put together this offseason. You can catch the spring game live on 10:10 a.m. The Florida Gators baseball team will look to keep their momentum going into games 2 and 3 of their weekend series against the Missouri Tigers after securing game 1 last night. Game 2 is set for tonight at 6:30 with Gators right-handed pitcher Aiden Keene starting on the mound, followed by Game 3 tomorrow at 5. Catch Gators baseball all weekend long on 10:10 a.m. The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp will not back down against the Charlotte Knights after securing 3 straight wins in their 6-game series, with Game 4 taking place tonight down at Five Star Ballpark at 7:05. It's 79 degrees at 103. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Taylor Dahl, Mia O'Brien. I'm Lauren Brooks, live here at the Coop, the beach volleyball complex on the University of North Florida campus. RJ Saunders making it all happen back at 1010XL headquarters. RJ, I wish you were out here because it is absolutely gorgeous, and these volleyball players are getting after it. I was telling them during a break that they will lay out, and obviously it's sand, it's not court, but it's not hardwood, but man alive, it looks like they're going to get injured every time, and then they pop right back up.
Yeah, I feel like this one is better. I guess when you're on a court, you're wearing like knee pads and stuff, so you're not as worried. But I remember I used to have constant bruises when I played volleyball. I also bruise easily, but I remember coming home and my mom would be like, "Are you okay?" Like, I'm fine, I'm good.
Yeah, it's just the ball. For some people, the bumping I understand.
On your underarm,
yeah, especially if the ball is pumped up a little too much, then it can hurt. And then obviously setting and spiking is not going to hurt.
So real talk. Real talk. Florida high schools. Do you guys play volleyball?
No.
Okay.
I don't know what that is.
I don't even know if they play it outside of the Freehold Regional High School District, but volleyball was when you'd play volleyball in the wrestling gym. And so the walls were in play so long as it was above a certain line. The wrestling mats that were rolled up in the corners were in play. The ceiling was obviously not. But because of that, it was an art form, and it became the sport that defined Freehold Township High School circa 2000 to probably 2020. And so, yes, volleyball is really where I think my volleyball prowess developed. We actually did not have high school volleyball at my sending high school. Yep, in our high school district, we had 6 high schools, and only 2 of the 6 actually offered it. But we had lacrosse, like Freehold Borough did not. So
Bishop Kenny was badass at volleyball.
Yeah,
in high
they
school.
still are.
They won the state championship when I was in school, so I always joked I picked the wrong sport since I played soccer.
They've been to the Final Four in soccer too. So
not when I was there. That's the only problem. But yeah, what's cool about beach volleyball is there's different rules than indoor volleyball. You can kick a beach. You can kick the
just
ball
like in
during
volleyball.
beach volleyball.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like volleyball.
Just like volleyball, baby. If you don't know, now you know.
It sounds similar. I don't remember what it's called, but there's a thing in Chicago, like downtown. There's a big building that you can go to, and it's kind of like basketball, but you're in like go-kart, like bumper cars almost. I want to say it's called volleyball or something like that, but it's not like a professional sport. You just go to have fun like you would like putt-putt or something. But it's a good time because you're in these like bumper cars, but you're playing like a combination of basketball, volleyball.
We finally have our first volleyballs that are
there
headed
it is.
our way. I've been waiting for one of those to come near us all day, and we finally just had a couple.
Oh,
we got a couple now. Yikes.
Yeah, I
All
love
right.
it. We've got Mercer warming up here, and of course,
Bear down.
University of North
We
Florida
are bear
taking
down.
on Jacksonville University on the courts right now, and so much fun out here. So if you love sports, come out to UNF. All right, ladies, I wanted to get to one more Trevor Lawrence cut that we didn't get to yesterday. And we've talked so much about quarterbacks needing to be in the right environment. Of course, that matters so much because if you're not in the right environment, and we saw it here firsthand with when Trevor Lawrence's very first year, if you're not in the right environment, then it's going to be dangerous, right? It's going to be terrible. So here's Trevor Lawrence on whether or not he likes this new system so far.
I do. I think I really believe in it. I believe in the process. Obviously it's early, but as far as just what the main, priorities are going to be for us and how they see the game and our offense, what we want to build it around, like all those things I'm in alignment with. I think just the few things that we've talked about as far as sinking the feet to the progressions and to all these things is really important as a quarterback. I think I'm going to be able to play even faster and get through progressions and feel confident and trust that.
That's crucial.
Yeah.
Going through progressions faster is critical.
And look, there's people listening right now who say it's April 11th. Of course, he's going to say that. Of course, everybody's looking at this thinking they have a chance at the Super Bowl and everything is hunky-dory. But I think ultimately the soundbite we played yesterday as well with regards relating back to this one, with regards to the footwork and the idea of as you are going through the play, more reads, more routes become open. It is not you turn your back to the line of scrimmage, you turn back around, and all of a sudden you have 5 or 6 options and you've got 2 seconds to make the decision, and if you don't make that decision, they're all gone. And then you have to escape the pocket. That is not how this offense is structured. I know I used the painting analogy yesterday. I'll use a music analogy today. It's a symphony. First the trumpet starts, then the tambourine, then the trombone. You know what I mean? Like, it's a progression of one after the other, which, as Trevor alluded to, that's even more difficult because if you're not on time, that's when the system can all combust. But at the same time, when it's based off of the quarterback's natural movement between the snap and dropping back into the pocket, that's a sophisticated, higher level of thinking than what we have seen previously.
Yeah, and I think it obviously...
Run with the symphony?
Yeah. I think a lot has to do with Trevor, and we've talked about this, and Liam Cohen's obviously now already addressed it in the sense of saying, hey, some of these mechanics need to be worked on. But I also think the importance of the wide receivers and Edgar Bennett now taking over at that wide receiver coach role, I think is also going to be important because one of the biggest daggers in this Jaguars for a long time, but let's just say these last few years. The last few years, the Jaguars wide receivers lead in drops in the NFL. That can't keep happening. And then you go back to the moments, how many times do you feel like 2 receivers are in the same spot or you're not running the right routes? Or Trevor sometimes saves plays because you're like, you could tell that wasn't really what was supposed to be happening, but Trevor ends up kind of saving certain moments. BTJ at certain moments, I think because he's so good and so talented, it made up for some of the flaws that just were not. There was a lot of lack of communication last year on the offense as a whole, or previous. Let's just say these last 3 years or the last 4 years since Trevor's been here. But I do think that's an important factor, too, and that goes down to it. We're talking about the mechanics of Trevor and kind of coming back to, like, the fundamentals. The wide receivers have to do the same thing because you cannot keep having balls bouncing off your forehead in the end zone, and you just can't do that. It's embarrassing.
We honestly didn't give that enough air time, if I'm being completely honest. Like, it happened, and then we were on to the next game.
There shouldn't be a 7-minute highlight reel of players dropping the football. Like, there's something more
low
beyond
light.
that. Yeah, low light. Yeah, I guess I should have said low light. There's something else, and we joked about it last year. Like, is this on burial ground? Because why can't anybody catch the ball? People that never had issues catching the ball before came to Jacksonville and all of a sudden struggled with that. I think that is a lot of mechanics. It's fundamentals. It's schematic things. I was talking to some people outside of Jacksonville, and they were saying that a lot of the ways that Press and Doug were scheming things up, it was a lot of, like, run and stop, and that just wasn't working for Trevor. So Trevor mentioning kind of predict being ahead of the get that moment, the timing and everything like that being so important, because you're trying to get to that ball. You need to know who this ball is getting to before they're actually in the spot. And I feel like it was so stagnant when it came to the offense last year. It was like run 10 yards, turn around, and hope that Trevor has enough time to get you the ball.
Amen.
But let's not do that.
I think a big question is, and I wonder if we were to ask receivers that have left this question, does Trevor throw a catchable ball? Right?
Yeah, because that's a lot of people try to argue that.
Right. So going to the whole drop thing, like, well, they would catch it if he put a little less fastball on it, right? Like, can he throw a ball that his deep balls, we already know.
I don't know. Justin Ross and T. Higgins were sure catching his passes once upon a time.
Some of those short ones, which is where you see when you go and you look at Trevor's numbers specifically, those like short, mid field sometimes is where a lot of the issues is. His completion percentage in those areas of the field is not good. I think there's a lot of bullets. And I think sometimes it is too fast. I also think there's other factors into that, but I do think that those are very coachable things. I think those are things that Liam Cohen and company are going to be able to work on with Trevor, because those aren't things to me where it's just like he seems lost. It doesn't seem like he doesn't know the game. It doesn't seem like it's too fast. It just seems like there's moments that sometimes you have to say, okay, let's reel it back in a little bit, Trevor. And I do think Liam Cohen, of what we've seen him do with Baker Mayfield, is exactly the person that I feel like can kind of coach some of those things that have started to happen negative with Trevor.
I also learned something. I did not know that there were tambourines in a symphony. I've been to the symphony a few times, but I
meant to say the timpani.
I thought I was like looking for tambourine.
I meant to say the timpani, right? That's the one.
Where?
You would I was in the marching band once upon a time. You would think I would know this. A lot of high school stories here. The timpani.
Okay, got it.
The timpani. What do you call it? Like, it's got the bronze drum. Yeah, we have Tom Fridley here. Top champion. It's the timpani, right? Yes, the bronze. Okay, cool. Yeah, we got the music maestro of 1010XL here. We need to use him.
Absolutely. Quick Masters update. Justin Rose is the solo leader atop. He is through 15 and he is 8 under. That means he's 1 under today. And then Bryson DeChambeau is creeping up. He is now 4 under today. He's through 9, so he is just 1 shot back of Justin Rose. He is 7 under, followed by 2 guys at 6 under, Matt McCarty and Sungjae M. McCarty is almost finished. He's through 17, and Sungjae M is through 12. Like we've said, the wind's going to pick up, so those guys that are finishing their rounds now are going to, I'm assuming, have better scores than the guys that are teeing off this afternoon. All right, we've got more to do on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Sometimes you make bad decisions.
Thompson, what's the charge? Disturbing the peace.
And sometimes you make good decisions.
It says here we should work in teams. Who wants to be my spotter?
1010XL. When you want to make a good decision.
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal Conditions.
Want to support a locally and veteran-owned company? If you need a new AC, we should be your first and only call. Ideal Conditions keeps you cool. Just ask your AC. Call 904-500-COOL or visit idealconditionsjacks.com.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal Conditions.
Idealconditionsjacks.com.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway for all your outdoor living needs. Let them show you how a durable paver driveway can enhance your home. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple of years ago. When it's smooth as silk, Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL's draft previews are brought to you by Hurricane Grill and Wings.
Abdul Carter would be a tremendous pick if he falls to the Jaguars at 5. The former Nittany Lion got pressure on 18.5% of his pass rushes last season, helping him register 12 sacks and 23.5 tackles for loss. His ability to play off the ball and off the edge will draw comparisons to Micah Parsons, and that would be a welcome addition to the teal and black arsenal already on the edge that features Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker.
If you're heading to the Og or you're already part of the nation's oldest, don't forget to drop into Sunset Grill. For over 30 years, serving up great chowder, seafood, wings, and cold beer. Sunset Grill, somewhere on A1A, St. Augustine Beach.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron. Totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens, also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings, and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
It's fun to predict because it's usually unpredictable. 1010XL's draft coverage is brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors and First Coast Recyclers. Roll through the offseason with AA Automotive.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Denny Thompson here. You gotta check out Tyson's Showroom Home Theater with surround sound and comfy theater chairs. You can transform your living room into a cinematic experience. I could stay there to watch all my games. It's that comfortable. Call Tyson today and bring the theater experience home. Tyson Sound and Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming, Iowa.
Tired of wrestling with your shower curtain like it's a slip and slide gone wrong? Ditch the drama and say hello to a smooth, stylish glass shower enclosure from Baker Glass. Wago Glass is clean, elegant, and makes your bathroom look huge and brighter. Give your shower a makeover and feel like you're in a spa without the price tag. I'm Mac at Baker Glass. Call me and get ready to love your new shower. Let's make your shower great again. Remember, Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Wow! I feel good.
It's a feel-good Friday.
We're gonna have a good time together.
And that would be good. So good.
Text or tweet something that makes you feel good today.
I hear good things. Really good things.
Cheers to the freaking weekend. Drinks it up.
Holly is very busy shacking some volleyballs right now as they, like I said, I've been waiting for that to happen, and now we've had 4 head our way. Taylor Dahl is here, Mia O'Brien, I'm Lauren Brooks. We are live here at the Beach Volleyball Complex, nicknamed the Coop after the Cooper family put enough money, and they were kind enough to be donors to create this gorgeous complex. RJ Saunders back at 1010XL headquarters. Taylor, kick us off for Feel Good Friday today.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a little bit of baseball because there's some rumors going around. Obviously, the Cubs got Kyle Tucker in this offseason. Kyle Tucker has been absolutely insane so far to start the season, and now rumors just kind of started going on that they are in contract extension talks with Kyle Tucker, which makes me very excited because his contract's over after the season. So that was part of it, where it's like you're trading for a guy that may only be here for a season, but it sounds like they're trying to work something out. Okay. The Cubs are 9-6, first in the Central, which is fun. But when you go through what Kyle Tucker, he leads right now baseball in hits, and I think he's second in RBIs. He's just been so much fun to watch, and some of the guys have made comments around him. Seiya Suzuki made a comment saying that batting next to Kyle Tucker has helped his at-bat because Seiya's been batting really well too. And so, yeah, a little fun baseball because I truly wasn't sure what to expect this season, and I know it's early, but it's been fun offensively. At least the bullpen's a little wild sometimes. The Cubs have to score like 8, 9, 10 runs to win some of these games, but they're doing it.
Yeah, also Notre Dame announced some news today.
Yeah, Notre Dame announced that they're going to be selling alcohol now at their basketball, hockey, and football games, finally.
Watch out for the hockey ones.
Yeah, so they're finally catching up to some times of getting that game day alcoholic beverages on campus.
When was the last time you went to something on campus?
It's been a long time.
Okay.
When I lived up there, so 10 years,
Okay.
actually probably 11, 12 years, because I was there in 2012, 2013.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. I've only been to one football game there, and it was October, and it was like 20 degrees.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, I wish, and I wasn't even 21 yet, so I didn't drink, but I remember thinking, like, at other schools, people would be like enjoying themselves a little more. Not at this school.
Yeah, that's why they get there at like 7 a.m. to tailgate, because that's what you have to fit it in.
You build the buzz. So then when you're in there, you don't even feel like it's that cold.
And I guess back then nobody actually served alcohol at stadiums, but
Yeah.
it has changed since then. And so they, like you said, they've finally caught up. Mia, Feel Good Friday for you?
Yeah, excited to be on the call tomorrow, senior day for JU women's lacrosse. Hopefully to have similar weather like this. Will be a very nice afternoon. And then other than that, excited to continue to recharge a little bit, maybe doing a little bit of yard work and watch the Masters this weekend. So it's kind of like how we were in December, Taylor Doll, in the multimedia department, where so many of our wonderful staffers kept asking me, can I do more? Can I do this? And I just kept saying, charge up.
Yeah.
In January,
It'll come, I promise.
In January, I'm going to need you for every waking hour of your life. When the Jaguars make a coaching change, let alone did we know the saga that would unfold with Trent Baalke and the GM search. And I feel like the same way, just knowing the draft is coming 2 weeks away, less than 2 weeks away officially as of yesterday. And so, just trying to recharge and really enjoy. Oh, I'm going to my friend's child's flag football game tonight. I'm very excited to see kindergarten flag.
I love that. That's
kindergarten
so
flag football and see exactly what that looks like.
My cousin's kids, so they all play baseball. She has 2 boys and 2 girls, and the 2 boys, they're the oldest. They both play baseball, really good at baseball. The little girl, the youngest, started recently playing t-ball, and it's so cute. Their name is the Southern Bells, and their uniforms are like cotton candy blue and pink. And she'll send me videos, and I'm like, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my whole entire life.
My Feel Good Friday was Monday night.
Yes.
The Gators won the national championship, obviously reliving it with Nick and all the wonderful fans who went out to San Antonio, obviously including my dad as well. And then tomorrow, headed down to Gainesville for some orange and blue action, and they will be honoring the men's basketball team at halftime. So that's going to be an absolute blast. I cannot wait, and I will give you an update on DJ Lagway.
What do you think about that being the way that the team will be honored, Lauren? Because I saw a lot of hate on the timeline. I saw a lot of folks saying that the Todd Golden's team deserves a standalone celebration, not just at halftime of the spring game.
Oh, I think it's brilliant because you already have a bunch of people descending upon Gainesville. Like, for instance, I probably wouldn't have gone to a standalone men's basketball celebration and the orange and blue game separately. So for me, I think it's great. And I remember in 2007, Florida honored the football team that had won in 06 at the spring game, and I thought it was a perfect thing. I think they are fine to be correlated, and I think at the same time, too, the men's basketball team will have a ton of people. Like, I would imagine this will be the highest attended spring game in quite some time, even though DJ Lagway may not be
especially because it's not going to be televised, so everyone needs to get boots on the ground to confirm whether or not DJ Lagway is indeed throwing and see it with their own 2 eyes.
Yeah, and I think that it would have been highly attended anyways, but this is definitely probably going to take it to a whole different
Well, and
level.
remember, on Wednesday at Flavitt Field at 1:30, they had a celebration for the team returning back to
Tuesday,
Gainesville.
yeah.
And so, was it Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Okay, yeah. So I think that, they got certainly some love then, and I think if you were to ask the team, they're fine. And
they got a boat parade. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, they got
across the country.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it does seem like San Antonio should host the Final Four every year. Every single person I've talked to who was there,
how great it was,
raved about it.
Right, but then, so what Nick Morrow just told us, which thanks again to the UNF athletic director and Florida grad for joining us, but Nick noted, like, in terms of seats in the house, at the end of the day, it is a football stadium, and you're watching a basketball
It's harder to see certain things.
Sure, that's why both he and Frank, when telling the story about the end of the game, they didn't have the shot clock right in front of them, and obviously the total game clock, like those of us watching at home. I was like, we probably celebrated watching at home half second
Understood what was happening.
Everybody, in the arena did. All right, so from Feel Good Friday to the Terminix Pest of the Day, as always brought to you by our friends at Terminix. Make sure that you contact them today about handling mosquito issues that you might have in your yard, TERMINIX.com. They take care of the pests and termites for Everbank Stadium, ViStar Ballpark, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, and all of your favorite event venues around town, especially where you can go see the symphony. And
exactly, which by the way,
the tambourine.
We have a Keeligan who's like quizzing me now. Can I name an instrument that doesn't start with a T? Piccolo, clarinet, bassoon, flute. I can, indeed. I was in the marching band, I promise you, and playing volleyball.
Terminix Pest of the Day, and an update for yours, it's whirly ball.
Yeah, whirly ball.
That's what it's called. So today's Pest of the Day, food poisoning.
Oh.
If anyone's ever had it, they know food poisoning is terrible. And I'm not talking about if you drink too much milk and then you end up getting sick. That's not food poisoning. Yankees outfielder Cody Bellinger had to miss a game earlier this week because he ate bad chicken wings.
Oh, no.
Obviously, here in Jacksonville, that would never happen. We have great establishments.
I was going to say, I'm
great
now
chicken wings.
panicked. At least it's a Lent
But
Friday. I won't be eating chicken today.
Yeah, he said that he will not eat chicken wings for 5 years because
how does he have a specific time frame?
I know. I was like, I would have said for the rest of my life.
Yeah, and then in 5 years, if you're like, I kind of want a chicken wing, you can have a chicken wing.
Once upon a time, I did get food poisoning from chicken wings, and I haven't had them since, truth be told.
Yeah, I had it at a specific place, and I never went back to that place again.
Sure.
So when you do, it definitely traumatizes you to where, like, even if it's something you like and enjoy, your mind just, like, won't let you overcome that barrier. So.
It's the Pest of the Day for
Poor
that
Belly.
reason. I know. Poor
Tony
guy.
Marinatis was just talking about Cody Bellinger.
And complaining about him, and now you're like, well.
He's like, he's not hitting. And I'm like, he goes through, he has his patches. That's one thing about Bellinger is he'll hit really, really well for 2-3 weeks, and then he'll be missing for 2-3 weeks, and then he'll hit really, really well. That's just kind of who Belly is.
It's the way it goes. All right, we've got a Masters update for you, and one segment to go here live from the Coop on the campus of UNF on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Now, a Masters Update on 1010XL, brought to you by TopDressing.com and St. John's Middle School Athletic Association.
From the Augusta National Golf Club, Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the Masters. I'm Ted Emmerich. Scotty Scheffler moments away from teeing off in the second round. The number one player in the world and two-time Masters winner started his tournament with a 468 that looked easy as can be.
It definitely wasn't easy out there. The greens were starting to firm up. It's definitely going to be a firm Masters this year. And I thought I was playing pretty tough out there. I did a good job of managing my way around the course, kept the card clean with no bogeys, and that making no bogeys around here, you're always going to have a pretty good score.
Now, Scheffler hoping for another round like that. He'll have to contend with stronger winds, gusts of up to 30 miles per hour from the west. Justin Rose leads at 8 under. He has within 6 feet for birdie at 16. Scheffler at the moment, 4 back. You're listening to coverage of the 2025 Masters on Westwood One.
Every day when we're on the road, people around us endanger themselves and others by looking at their phones while driving. There's the sneak-a-peeker who darts their eyes between the road and their texts, or the nightlighter who illuminates their car after dark. If that's you, reconsider before you find yourself becoming the fender-benderer, the got-a-ticketer, or worst of all, the driver who killed someone. Put the phone away, or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for University Housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Augusta National doesn't release official attendance information, but on another sun splash day here in the second round, it feels like 250,000 or 250,000 patrons are on the course. And right now, it's like they're all following Bryson DeChambeau. Let's check the NHTSA leaderboard. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA. DeChambeau going out in 4 under 32. He is 7 under, 1 back of Justin Rose, who is 8 under par. Rose played the par 5 15th very conservatively, laid up with his second short of the pond that guards the green. Rose then took the water out of play with his wedge landing about 20 feet away. 2-putt par there, but Rose put his tee shot at 16 within 6 feet, so a great look at birdie there for Rose. Matt McCarty and Sung J M are 6 under, 2 back. McCarty has 8 birdies on the card today through 17 holes. M is through 12. Corey Connors through 3 holes. He's 5 under, 3 back. Ludwig Oberg, Shane Lowry, and Scotty Scheffler all at 4 under par, 4 back. From Augusta, I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
Lauren Brooks here. At Hodges Mazda, they are proud of their solid reputation in the Jacksonville community. As your hometown Mazda dealer, their high customer service standards and their huge inventory of new and used cars provide their customers a consistently first-rate car buying experience. Their professional non-commissioned sales team put your best interests first without exception. And all new vehicle purchases include the Hodges Mazda Protection Package. Visit them online at hodgesmazda.com or stop in today to learn more and discover the Hodges Mazda difference.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
Value or flavor? Price or taste? Why choose when you can get both with everyday deals at Sonny's? Right now, you can get the pork big deal for $10, the pork and rib combo for $12, and all you can eat ribs for just $19.99. Yep, you heard right. All your favorites are now available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
The Jacksonville Icemen have punched their ticket to the Kelly Cup playoffs in April. But first, the Icemen have an action-packed weekend with the Savannah Ghost Pirates, Friday and Saturday night at 7. Then it's the Orlando Solar Bears, Sunday at 3. All games at 5-Star Veterans Memorial Arena. Tickets at Ticketmaster, JacksIcemen.com, or call 904-602-PUCK. Iceman Hockey is #FrozenFrenzy.
Florida Home AC wants to make sure you're super cool when things heat up and toasty warm when the temps drop. Indoor comfort for you all year long is what they're going for. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com to score great deals on an AC tune-up and keep the temperature perfect.
No one knows more about fishing the First Coast than Captain Kevin Favor. The Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Reeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services. And Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6.
On 1010XL AM.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting. Enjoy a great day of golf and support Eagles View Academy Athletics. Friday, May 2nd at the newly renovated Bent Creek Golf Course. 8:30 shotgun start, best ball format. Find out more at EVAWarriorsathletics.com.
David here with Royal Pest Services. Man, don't let your yard be torn up by that heavy aeration machine this spring. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to learn more about our granular aeration. Broadcast throughout the tree and shrubs to break up that compacted soil. Visit RoyalPestServices.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and there's so many cool products that are on the line at Cycles of Jacksonville. The showroom is Atlantic and Regency, and we're talking, Greg, you've got from any level of price point, the experienced rider to the inexperienced on-road, off-road.
We've got it. We've got ATVs, we've got motorcycles, we've got scooters, we even have the new Honda boats. We've got something for everyone.
Don't forget about the boat line from Honda. It's all right there, waiting for you. Atlantic and Regency or Cycles of Jacksonville's Facebook page.
Hello, Jacksonville. This is John Johnson with First Coast Recycling. We buy junk cars. If you have a car or a truck that you're looking to get rid of, then look no further. If you absolutely, positively have to get that car out of there, accept no substitutes. Fast cash is at your fingertips. Just call First Coast Recycling at 904-294-1659 today for a quick and easy quote. Come on, let's take your driveway back.
St. Johns County parents, does your kid have energy to burn? Want them to play a sport for their middle school? Sign up today for the St. Johns Middle School Athletic Association. Tackle football, dance, and cheerleading. Who doesn't want their kid to be the next NFL quarterback or dance floor diva? You know how fast your kid can go from playing Xbox to practicing their touchdown dance or sideline cheer? Visit sjmsaa.org. sjmsaa.org.
You've got a lot on your plate. The last thing you need is car trouble. At Maxie's Mechanics, we help you keep your cars, trucks, and SUVs running safely. Visit MaxieAutoRepair.com today for honest service, reliable repairs, and peace of mind for you and your family.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
One of our first topics that we hit on today on a Feel Good Friday edition of Helmets and Heels. Of course, Shedeur Sanders comments that he is over the pre-draft process. And, well, yes, we agree with you, Shedeur. Silly season has reached its peak form. I did find it rather fascinating, ladies, that we had that conversation, and then I see the boys from both PFF and Underdog Fantasy discussing exactly that on X. This is from Josh Norris of Underdog. Shedeur Sanders' offensive line was generationally bad this season, to which Sam Monson, formerly of PFF, says this has impacted his play beyond just the pressured snaps. See Mayfield Baker when his left tackle was Greg Robinson.
Yeah, there's no denying that when you have an offensive line, we know here how an offensive line affects so many things. This is why we've had this conversation now about the run game, about all of the things that kind of factor in, even mentally, of what it's done to Trevor. And now when you're in college and you have that type of, you really have kind of one guy that you're getting the ball to also, and then you have nobody protecting you. I'm sure that's factoring in a lot. So I think Shedeur's career will be interesting, and that's why kind of at the top I was saying I do think it's important to go to a good situation. And I say that because obviously he's not going to be able to do what he did at Colorado in the NFL. He's just not going to be able to make all of those spectacular plays. Point to Caleb Williams this last year. Like, it's a prime example. Is like the magic will work sometimes, but it's not going to work all the time because you have the best of the best coming at you at both ends of almost every defense you're facing. And I think that it took Caleb a bit to start to adjust to not be able to be like, hey, I can make all of these superhero plays. He wasn't able to do that all the time the way he was at USC, and I do think Shedeur is the same thing. So I do think it is important for him to go. If we want to see a successful Shedeur, I do think he's going to have to be behind somewhere where he has a little bit of protection and also a coach who can develop him.
I can't cool down when I read this quote from Alex Condon on possibly turning pro or staying at the University of Florida. We'll see what this guy does. Maybe if he stays, I'll stay. Talking, of course, about Thomas Houck.
Which Thomas Houck also commented on Walter Clayton's post on Instagram, I think it was yesterday, and was like, oh, can you please stay another year? And he's like, nah, I don't have enough eligibility.
Yeah, Walter Clayton Jr. is obviously gone, but
the fact that Thomas Houck was saying, please stay another year.
Sure. Yeah, people
might suggest he's going to come back.
Yeah, I certainly hope for Todd Golden's sake that he gets both of those guys back. I also think for their sakes, it's important to stay and play another year of college basketball. Also, you don't get those days of your life, like to be the big man on campus, literally, but also figuratively. You don't get that ever again. You will never, for the rest of your life, get to walk around a college campus and be that guy, and not just about the attention, but also to play in college in those atmospheres. Like if you don't play for a team in the NBA or if you don't start, like you're never going to have those types of moments ever again.
I think we do, though, have the college athletes that are like, well, I could leave while I'm on top, and you're on top with the national championship right now, and sometimes you're like, let me leave college, whatever sport, knowing that I am walking away a champion at that time, because if you come back next year, and not saying I think Florida's still going to be incredible next season, but if you were not, then you're like, oh man, I came back and I could have left when you're like on the top of the mountain.
I think for those guys, though, like, 'cause I agree with you, Taylor, and especially when it comes to professional sports, if you are even debating retirement and you have a championship in that same window, just walk away.
Yeah.
Walk away. Well, it's never going
Tom
to
Brady
be.
did not do that.
Yeah.
Correct.
Aaron Rodgers, look how he's the end of his career is going.
Brett Favre, go right on down the line.
Yeah.
Now, with college, and especially given the Gators situation, where I don't want to say they won a national title earlier than they expected, because I'm sure if you asked Todd Golden when they got this group together in the fall, they said, yeah, this is a group that could compete for a national title. But at the same time, I think if you're Haug, if you're Condon, like, you now have this on the resume. And while, yes, you will now be scrutinized because now you become the leader of this team, and whether the team doesn't play well, if your stock is to drop, like the argument of your stock's never going to be higher in the eyes of NBA scouts, that's the part of the betting on yourself that we like to talk about on this show. Of we love to talk about those people that it works out for them, that they come back and they bet on themselves and it worked out and they raise their stock. That's not a lot of people. So I understand it, but at the same time, I do think this is different, because I don't think either of those two players, maybe Condon, thought that they would be on NBA draft radar. Certainly Thomas Haug didn't think that 4 months ago, let alone a year
and
ago.
Alex Condon's been dealing with an injury, almost like a, kind of back and forth, nagging injury for almost the whole second half of basketball too. And that's what we talk about, injuries and stuff, when it comes into bowl games and stuff. But I wonder how much it factors into brains of, do I want to go now, and what if an injury does happen next year and it's worse? Condon obviously was able to play through it, but you could see it factor into certain moments during the tournament.
And at least that's what his agent's going to tell people. By the way,
I think they'll both, by the way, Lauren, real quick, I think they'll both declare just to go through the process. It's good to go through the process. Both Will Richard and Walter Clayton did last year, and look at what they did when they came back.
Yeah, absolutely. 4-star point guard Acaden Lewis, I think I'm pronouncing Acaden right, decommitted from Kentucky. Does he want to come to Gainesville and play with Thomas Haug and Alex Condon?
Look, we've got a couple Heeligans who are on the Xavier Lee train from Princeton. Elite playmaking guard, technically is only a junior, so he is leaving Princeton without a Princeton degree. That's not something you see every day. He's got a whole host of blue bloods courting his services. I think that's the first domino that has to fall for Florida before we start seeing some other movement.
Which obviously Florida needs more than one guard.
Yes.
Todd had 3 stellar guards this
Correct.
season. All 3 pretty much are going to be moving on, I would imagine, and so
they all have to. They're out of eligibility.
I just feel like at some point in time we're going to see somebody play an extra year, like we have with the Miami tight end who got his 9th season.
But then I was hearing yesterday, I was listening to our friends Trevor Sycamore and Connor Rogers, and they were describing this one running back, I believe it was at New Mexico, that he came back for what he thought was his 6th year COVID year, but because of an accounting error from his previous institution at Alabama A&M. Maybe one of the Heeligans has the details on this if you want to hit the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010. Because he switched jersey numbers, the NCAA didn't have records of him playing his sophomore year, and so they cleared him. But then one game into his season, it was like, oh, wait a second, you've exhausted your eligibility. So, I mean,
JUCO doesn't count. One more year for these 3. I mean, I'm
who
kidding.
cares?
I know they're not
It's
there.
fun. It's more fun that way for the viewer, and it's all about TV dollars. Am I right?
Everything is about the money. All right, so the latest when it comes to the Masters, Justin Rose has a 1-shot lead over Bryson DeChambeau. He is 8 under. That means he is 1 under for today after shooting a 65 yesterday. Bryson DeChambeau is 7 under total. He's 4 under today. That means, like I said, 1 shot behind Justin Rose. Sungjae Im is 5 under today. He is playing lights out, so he is 6 under. And then Matt McCarty, Corey Connors are both 5 under. And Matt McCarty is in the clubhouse. He shot a 68 today, so a 4 under round for Matt McCarty. So that's a really good round. And then, like we've said all day, the rounds this afternoon, it's going to be fun. Well, fun for us to watch them go through those windy conditions. Not fun to be on the golf course at Augusta when it's going to be that windy.
Yeah, this course definitely when you want to. And even yesterday, I heard him talking about that too. Like if you're one of those later tee times, it's going to obviously affect you. But today, definitely. And so if you're out on the course now, some of these guys definitely need to take advantage of that. When I scroll down, because I was still looking, Victor's still 2 under. Tommy Fleetwood's up to 2 under, so that's good. If we would have actually made our picks, but
sure, yeah.
When you talk about the not like, which I think Bryson DeChambeau for a lot of people has shifted because he was so unlikable for so long, but even with the live stuff has become a little bit more likable. Tommy Fleetwood is like the exact opposite of what Bryson DeChambeau is. Like he's just such a likable guy, and you're like, I want him to win something on the tour so bad.
I mean, he and his fellow Englishman, Matthew Fitzpatrick, before he won the U.S. Open a few years ago, they were both the definition of always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah.
The number of round 3 leads that those two had going into the final day of play at the Players Championship, let alone at any major competition, any event on the PGA Tour. Like you need 3 hands to count it because it just felt like every weekend Tommy Fleetwood is there, Matthew Fitzpatrick is there, and then the collapse on Sunday.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens with Scottie Scheffler and Rory McIlroy. Obviously, the 2 biggest names in golf. Scheffler currently is 4 under. McIlroy is 3 under. Scheffler just began his second round, so he's only through 1, and then Rory is through 12. Rory, I feel like, just has to keep it kind of slow and steady.
Stay within striking distance.
Right, that wins the race.
That's what Scottie's approach has been for 2 years, and look what's happened.
Yeah, exactly. Another guy who, by the way, is 5 under today is a name I'm not sure I can pronounce. Rasmus Højgaard, I want to say is how you say that. All right, let's say hello to XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Matt Hayes joins us. We are live here at UNF, the beach volleyball complex. Matt back at 1010XL headquarters. Matt, Nico Iamaleava, is he going to play for someone else other than Tennessee next season?
I don't know how Tennessee could do that. I mean, it's you're this deep into your process right now. You're 4 months from the season. I can't imagine if they wouldn't pay him whatever he wants. He's got him over the barrel right now. There's no doubt he's got leverage. I would imagine they're going to pay him what he wants. But by doing that, he's going to put a significant amount of pressure on himself, not only to perform, but to perform at a high level. Or not only will they not get to where they want to go, but I think he'd lose the locker room at that point too. Like if they struggle early, they go like 3-2 or something. That locker room's going to have problems. That it could be a potentially disastrous situation.
Your friend and ESPN's Chris Lowe reporting that right before the winter portal closed, Iamaleava's reps wanted to up the deal to the $4 million range. Again, this time as the spring portal opens Wednesday. According to sources, his representation has said that we are not going to blink.
Why? I mean, why would he? He has all the leverage. Tennessee has nothing behind him at quarterback. Right now, players are in a very good situation in college sports with the way that there are basically no rules. It's wide open free agency, and they have all the power. And quite frankly, that doesn't bother me at all.
Matt, what is right now at this point in time of April of 2025, if you're looking ahead at the quarterbacks for college football next season, who are your top 3?
My top 3? Wow.
Putting him on the spot here.
Look,
Is Arch there? Is Arch at the top?
I think John Mateer is going to have a phenomenal season at Oklahoma.
Okay.
I love the way he plays. I don't think anybody has really seen just how good he is. He was fantastic at Washington State last year. Rushed for just under 1,000 yards, threw for 3,600, had 44 total TDs. Now he's in a much better situation at Oklahoma. You can go through all the typical guys, Carson Beck.
as I see JJ flashing me the U right now in the studio here. I think Arch Manning will have a big year, too. I really do. I don't think there's any doubt that you're going to see him develop into an elite quarterback.
All right. Matt, what's coming up?
We are going to talk NFL. We're going to talk the draft. We're going to talk about Leon's Sweet 16. And of course, we're going to talk about the Masters.
Of course. All right. Thanks, Matt. We'll be listening.
All right.
By the way, UNF, I told you earlier today, undefeated at home. Defeated JU in beach volleyball 5-0.
All right.
So, yeah.
Still undefeated.
That's right. We did not bring bad luck by trying to jinx her. No, just kidding. Wasn't trying. All right. For Taylor Dahl, for Mia O'Brien, for RJ Saunders back at 1010XL headquarters, and for our engineer here, Tom Champion, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you on Monday, talk all about the Masters, but don't go anywhere. XL Primetime comes up next.
You keep lying.